hey, as a church, we thought it would be a good way to start off this year just by talking about fresh start in the beginning of the year. So throughout this last 3 weeks, we've been talking about how we can make this year better compared to last year or the previous years. So here's what I want to say to you: if if you guys have a smartphone, we do have our apps available, so you can just download Square One Church apps. We upload our weekly message there, and we are about to do something that is very exciting, I think, with our apps. We're gonna have a section where you can ask question, right? And we are trying to launch this by next Sunday. So basically, after you hear a message, you open up. I will give you about 60 seconds, and then you pop open the apps, and then you just send me question. And you can send me question or send the church question anonymously. You don't have to put your name in it, so you can ask anything you want to ask. I think next month or next Sunday will be a great time since we're talking about relationships. So again, download our app, Square One Church. We also upload our message on YouTube, and we also have a website that Aaron helped us to create, to fix some times ago, www.squareone.church. So we've been talking about how we can make this year better than last year in this beginning of the new year. Now, speaking of the new year, I don't know if it's just me or some of you might feel the same way too, that time is just moving really fast, right? Last year is just went by like this, right? And I don't know if it's just the time move really fast, and I also feel like the world is moving really fast. Now, some of you who are my age and older, maybe you can relate with me on this, right? I remember like 25 years ago or 30 years ago, when we watch a movie that's talking about the future, they are trying to give us a picture of what the year of 2000 looks like. But can you believe it? Now it's like 2020, right? Maybe for those of you who are younger, maybe right now when you are watching a movie, they give you a picture of what 2050 looks like, right? Before you know it, we're going to get there like really, really soon. It's just everything moves really fast. Now, if you are into technology, you know technology moves really, really fast, right? It seems like every single day, every single week, something new just showed up, isn't it, right? Something new just come out, right? A car with a new technology, TV, on different type of TV. You have LCD, LED, OLED, QLED, right? OLED, QLED, AMOLED. I don't know, man. All kind of LED, right? I mean, I don't know how we're gonna keep up with all of this. Now, speaking of technology, I found this online here. Nowadays, they have they come up with a new technology when it comes. They instill the Bluetooth technology on the diaper right here. So now this will send you a notification on your phone, right? And it will tell you that whether your babies go number 1 or number 2, right? So can you imagine, right? You receive a notification on your phone, right? Oh, this may be my food delivery or something, and then, oh no, this is just my baby going number 2, right? Now I don't know about you. Now, those of you who around babies a lot, or if you have kids, right? See, here's what I want to say to you. You don't really need Bluetooth technology. You know when your baby goes, especially number 2s, right? You can smell it in the room, and you can smell it in the next room, right? So I thought it's pretty interesting, something that I want to show you. Now today, though, last week we talked about how we can make a better decision. So again, check out our apps. Now this week, today, I'd like to share something with you that I experienced this personally, and it really changed my life. We don't really guarantee things a lot around here, but I want to say to you this morning, I guarantee you, if you start practicing this, if you start living your life this way, your life is going to be different, right? You will start to feel the effect right away in your life if you live this way. Now, before I tell you what it is, I want to tell you a story. I remember I have One time my friend, his name is Eman, he lived in New York. One time he called me and he told me this story about how on Sunday morning he was ready, he was getting ready to go to church with with his family, and he took a shower and all of that. He dried himself off and everything, right? And then he took one of this thing called Q-tips, and then these Q-tips he put it inside of his ears, and then he cleaned up inside of his ear, and then when he pulled it out, the tips, the cotton balls, it's missing, right? Now, he thought it was like he dropped it on the floor or something. And then he couldn't find it on the floor. And then it dawned on him, he realized, uh-oh, it's actually inside of my ears. Now, I don't know if he's telling me the truth, but he said that he grabbed a vacuum. He tried to vacuum it out from his ears, but he couldn't. It didn't help, right? So this is why he thought, well, you know what? I'm just gonna let's just go to church, right? I'll figure it out after church, right? And then while he was sitting at the church, it bothered him so much he had to tell his family that, hey, you guys stay here. I'm going to go to the ER. And then long story short, he went to the ER. The people at the ER couldn't figure it out, couldn't take that thing out from his ears. And then the hospital sent him to a specialist. And then in that specialist, they have a tool that just that help him get that thing out very, very easy. Now, when the doctor took that thing out from his ear, this is what the doctor say. Hey, do you know that you are not supposed to put that inside of your ears? Now, when the doctor says that, my friend says, really? When my friend told me a story, this is what I said too. Really? Is there any of you here who don't know that you're not supposed to put that inside of your ears? Any of you? Yeah, a couple of you, right? And then, or maybe I should ask this. Is there any of you who know you're not supposed to put it inside of the ear and you do it anyway? There you go, right? That's the right question, right? Well, the doctor says this. Well, it says there on the label, warning, do not insert swab into ear canal. Someone designed this. The designer, the creator create this, right? And tell you and me that you need to use it in a certain way. There's a purpose of why the designer or the creator create this, right? And then there's a warning. If you don't use it according to why this thing is created or the purpose of this thing created, then you have the potential to hurt yourself. Now, here's what I want to ask you this morning. How many of you know that we are created beings? Do you know that we have a creator? Do you know that someone created us and we are the created being? Do you know that the creator who created us, the designer who designed us, designed this life, designed this universe, right? If someone or something is created, there's got to be a purpose. This is why I said earlier, if you want this year to be better than last year, then you and me, we have to find out how we are supposed to live this life. Because our life, you and me, we are created, right? Life, it's supposed to be lived in a certain way based on how the Creator create that. Here's the one thing that I guarantee you that your life will be better this year if you start practicing this. This is what we're going to be talking about today. Give away your life. The best way for you and me to live our life is to give it away. Make sure you understand, I don't say throw away your life, but give away your life. I like to put it this way, that you and me, we are designed by the designer of life to give your life away. You are designed by the designer of life to give your life away. Now, there are two parts of this statement that I want to share with you this morning, right? I'm going to try my best to convince you. There are two parts of this thing that we're going to be talking about this morning. The first one, this is the first thing that we're going to talk about. There is a designer of life. There is a creator of life. And then the second part, if life is designed in such a way, how are we supposed to live this life? So here's the first part first. There is a designer. All of these things, all this universe, this world, you and me, life, there's a designer of life. Now, I want to start by saying this also. If you are here and you're not a Christian, you're new in Christianity, and maybe you never been to church before, right? Or maybe the reason why you come, you love the people are kind, nice, you love this community. I just want to tell you that I am so glad that you're here. You know, when we created this place, when we first started this place, those are the people that we also want to think about. Not just the Christian, but the people who never been to church before. Now, if you've been here for some times, you heard me saying this many, many times. There's a myth that says this. Hey, you have to choose between science and God. You have to choose between science and faith. You cannot believe in science and then be a Christian at the same time. You cannot do that. But that is not true at all, right? That is not true at all. And you heard me saying this many, many times. I tell you why I want to start by saying that is because I don't know if you are into science and all of that things, right? But in the last 80 to 100 years or so, the majority of scientists or the majority of quantum physicists, they actually believe that this world, this universe has a beginning. Whether you are Christian scientists or non-Christian scientists, the scientists who believe in God, the scientists who don't believe in God, the majority of it, the conclusion in the last 80 to 100 years is that the world, this universe, has a beginning. Meaning that once upon a time, there's nothing. And then there you go, our universe existed. Our universe showed up. So there's a beginning. And then for some of us, I don't know about you, but I don't feel smart enough to disagree with the majority of the scientists, right? For us to believe that, hey, the universe has always been there, it's always existed, right? We would disagree with the majority of those scientists. Again, whether it's Christian scientists or non-Christian scientists. Once upon a time, there's nothing. And then there's the universe. Now, a lot of people feel that they feel like here's where the disagreement comes. The non-Christian scientists believe that this universe happened because of the natural cause. I'm getting to my point. If you just in case this is science class or whatever, right? People feel like the disagreement is where the non-Christian scientists believe that this universe happened because of the natural cause, because of the explosion. This is why you heard about the Big Bang Theory. You heard about that theory before, right? The reason why they call it the Big Bang is because the big explosion, a Big Bang, and then the universe was formed, right? Now, I don't feel this is the disagreement between Christian scientists and the non-Christian scientists, right? I just think the Christian just know who did the banging, right? The Christian know who did the banging, right? While the atheists believe that the universe was formed, again, by accident and coincidence. But our biggest struggle is this. If we think that universe happened by coincidence, when you look at our solar system, when we look at our universe, when we look at this earth, it is hard for us to say that all of this happened by accident because it seems like everything is so well designed. That's why I said there's a designer of all of these, right? Everything is so well designed. For example, the earth has to be in a perfect position where life is possible. In order for life to be possible on this earth, the earth has to be in the perfect position in the solar system. Some of you know, some of you learned this. If you move the earth a little bit too far from the sun, we all going to be freezing. If you move it too close, we all going to be burning. It's just so well designed, right? And in some way, it is predictable of what's happening in this earth. The sun always rises on the east, right? The sun always set on the west. Do you know that predictability is is what makes science possible? Do you know that? Right? You cannot do science when you throw things up. Sometimes they fall, sometimes they float. You can't. The reason why you can do science is because it's predicted. You can predict it, right? When you throw things up, it's going to come down. It's called gravity. That's the thing that makes it possible for us to do science. Let me put it in a simple way. To think that everything around us is coincident, happened by accident, it will be like this. How many of you know what a junkyard is? A junkyard is where your car is so old that you sell it for $100 here, just take it away, right? The reason why they give you $100 is because they can take the window, they can take things apart, then they can resell it, a junkyard. To think that our world and our universe happened by accident, it will be like this. Imagine a junkyard, and then imagine there's a tornado pass by and destroy that junkyard. And then after the tornado destroy everything and the tornado is gone, and all of a sudden it form, and all of that junk will form this beautiful car like this. What are the chances, right? That's what it is. If you think that all of this happened, is so well designed, it's just that's the simplest illustration. It's hard for us to say that everything happened by accident. That's why I am convinced that there is a designer. There's an intelligent designer who designed this universe, this life, who designed you and me. Well, the Christian actually, believe that the explanation is actually in the first sentence as soon as you open up your Bible. The Christian actually believe as soon as you open up the Bible, here's the first sentence. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So there is a creator who created all of this. There is a designer who designed all of this, including designing you and designing us, designing our life. Now, the next question that I want to share with you is this. Okay, so if we are designed, what is our purpose? If this whole life has a purpose, if the designer designed this life, how are we supposed to live this life? What is this life designed for? That's why I said that you are designed by the designer of life to give your life away. That's the best way for you to live. A few years ago, the University of Chicago, they did some research. And they asked this question to the people, to a group of people. What type of job that give you most satisfaction? What kind of job that give you most satisfaction? And this is the result from their study. The job that has that is related to caring for other people, like nursing, doctors, right? And then a job that has something to do with teaching, a teacher, and then protecting others, like law enforcement, firemen, and those kind of things. And then the fourth result is this, a creative pursuit, something to do with arts. What's interesting in this research says that they found out that happiness and satisfaction has nothing to do with your income. In other words, in this study, this is what they found. After someone is able to provide a basic need for their family, housing, clothing, food, making more money will not make them happier. That's what they found out in this study. Another study says this. In UK, in the last 20 years, there are 40 different research. There are 40 different studies that says this. When you volunteers, when you serve, when you do something for other people, this is what they found out. Depression goes down, heart disease, stress, drug abuse, teen pregnancies goes down. 40 studies in the last 20 years. When you volunteer, when you serve, when you help others, this is what happens. Your emotional health is better, your physical health is better, your self-esteem and your quality of life is better. Right? We're not even talking about the Bible. This is the study that they did. Those of you who have a teenager at home, those of you who are parents, you need to listen to this. Or maybe if you are a teenager, even though if you force your kids, your teenagers to serve, right? Even if you go like, oh my gosh, I got to do this again, right? I got to volunteer again, I got to serve again. Even if that's how you feel, even if you drag your teens to serve, to force them to volunteers, the effect, the result is still positive. This is the last one that I want to show you, the last studies here. It says this, one of the best strategy to fight a cancer is by volunteering and do something for others. The reason is because this type of activity will increase the immune system to fight the disease. See, is it a coincidence? No, you and me, we are designed by the designer of life to give your life away. This is not the research that was done by the church. This is by the universities. Which Jesus, if he's here today, he's like, I know. Right? Jesus would say that, I know. How many of you heard this verse before? If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. That's what Jesus says. The author of life, the designer of life, the creator of life says that if you are living with a closed hand, if you are thinking just about me, myself, and I, if you focus inward, we will lose it. We will lose our life. Life is just no fun, right? It's definitely awesome in the beginning when we live just for ourselves because it's all about our pleasure. It's about my money, my time. But in the long run, it's going to feel like, really? Is this all there is? That's how it's going to feel like. On the opposite side, when we give away our life, when we give up our life, Jesus said that you will find life, you will save it. When you and me live with open hands, we focus outwards, that's when we found life. When we started to change our question instead of what can others do for me, what can the church do for me, what can my parents do for me, what can other people, my friend, do for me, instead we're changing that question to like, how can I help others, what can I do for other people, then you will find out that life is so much fun. There is a lot more, there's so much more in this life. Life is just full of purpose. A few years ago, I was reading this article. This is what they say, that the Dead Sea in the Middle East is started to dry up, right? And then what's weird is that about 80 miles apart, there's a place called the Sea of Galilee. It's just so much life around it. The Dead Sea, there's no life around it, and it starts drying up. And if my source is correct here, the water came from the same source. Came from Jordan River. But the only difference is this. When the Jordan River gives the water to the Dead Sea do not have a place to channel the water out. They don't have a place to funnel or to channel the water somewhere else. In other words, the Dead Sea is just receive, take the water. But what's weird is it's drying up. But the Sea of Galilee, they receive a water for Jordan River, and then they have a place for them to channel the water out somewhere else. So it's like they receive and they give it to other place. They receive water, they give it to somewhere else. And Sea of Galilee, there's so much life around it, right? How can that be, right? The one is just taking without giving it out. The other one is taking and giving out, taking and giving out. But there's so much life around it. So I just pray that our life will not look like Dead Sea where it's drying up. I pray that our life will look like the Sea of Galilee, where we receive the time from God, the money, the knowledge, the talents, all of the resources that we receive from God, we give it away and we give it away. We channel our resources somewhere else. And as a result, life is so much fun. There's so much more in life. That's how life works. That's how life designed by the designer of life. Because you and me, you are designed by the designer of life to give your life away. Like I promise you, if you start practicing this, your life and my life will not be the same. As a matter of fact, if you start practicing this in a very short time, you will start seeing the difference in your life. You will feel more fulfilled, more satisfied with your life. So I want to invite the musician to come up if it's okay. I want to close with this. Oh, you can stand up too if you don't mind. We're going to sing the last song, and then after that we'll dismiss. You are designed by the designer of life to give your life away. You know, on Sunday morning, once in a while, in the morning, I have to pick up some people because those people who are volunteering, sometimes they need a ride to go to church, right? There's this amazing and this beautiful sight that I see in the morning, on Sunday morning. Now, some of you know we are living in the inner city, we are living in the city, so you can kind of see like a lot of people are walking, right? You can still feel the neighborhood type of vibe in the South Philadelphia area, right? The reason why I said that, if you live in the suburb, or like 2 weeks ago, I went to California, you don't have this feeling of this neighborhood vibe, because as soon as you get out of the house, it's a highway, right? The house is like not close with each other, right? Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is I see this amazing and beautiful side of, like, I see it's quiet, right? But some people, they walking around, and you can kind of tell that, oh, this people or this person is actually on the way to church. I don't know, by the way they dress, or I don't know. You can tell if some people are on their way to work or on the way to church, right? So that's the reason why I said I see some beautiful side. I see some amazing side in the middle of the cold weather, in the middle of the heat, if it's during the summer. Sunday morning, are you kidding me? Sunday morning, right? And these people are walking toward their church to serve. And from time to time, since I know a lot of different church around here, and then I know a lot of friends who go to different churches, who serve in different churches, sometimes I would meet my friend, just got out from the car, and I stop and I say hello to them. If you're wondering, yes, I'm that person who stopped in the middle of the street, right? The one that you get annoyed with, right? And just say hello to them. Hey, where are you going? Oh, I'm on the way to church, right? I was just thinking, maybe, just maybe. Again, Sunday morning, cold weather, Sunday morning, hot weather, right? Maybe, just maybe, these people that I'm talking about, they have experienced this, right? Once you experience things, once you know how it feels, once you experience how it feels, or what it feels like when you give your life away, I'm sure you don't want to live any other way. This is why for them it's no problem. And I just pray for you this morning that you will experience that as well. Because the best way for us to live our life is to give our life away. I pray that you will find a true fulfillment. I pray that you will find a true satisfaction in your life. And today we just learn. If you want that to happen in your life, if you want to experience that, give your life away.